kabaddi, 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 kabaddi. I love you. Ghilli, Ghilli, Ghilli. Ghilli, Ghilli, Ghilli. Ghilli, Ghilli, Ghilli. Servus Freunde, my name is Jimmy Cage. I've reviewed more than 400 Indian movies on the channel, and once a month we let all of our awesome patrons and YouTube members decide what we should watch next. This time it was all about Thalapathy Vijay. The options were Ghilli, Kadaluku Mariyadai and Tulada Manamum Tulum. And the winner, as you can see, and as it was probably expected, though it was close, is the 2004 mass entertainer Ghilli. The next poll is already up as well, with 3 Amitabh Bachchan classics to choose from: Agnipath, Amar Akbar Anthony and Silsila. When it comes to Vijay, I am pretty unfamiliar with his work. I have only reviewed last year's Master, and 5 years ago I watched but not reviewed Mersal, which I think I wasn't remotely ready for, or maybe it's just not my kind of movie, but it was just exhausting. Now Ghilli is always regarded as one of the most important movies in his career, a big mass entertainer that was an absolute super hit when it came out. It ran for more than 200 days and it became the highest grossing Tamil film at the time. It was actually a remake of the Telugu language Mahesh Babu vehicle Okadu, and normally I try to watch the original first. But Ghilli was mentioned so many times in the comments, and Okadu not so much. Ghilli was directed by Dharani and it stars Vijay as an aspiring kabaddi player who happens to be at the right place at the right time to rescue the young woman Dhanalakshmi, played by Trisha Krishnan, from the clutches of the evil scumbag Muthu Pandi, played by Prakash Raj, who is reprising his role from the original Telugu version. Ghilli is a classic modern masala movie, a commercial entertainer that has a little bit of everything: action, comedy, music and romance. It's over the top, it's silly and overall just a fun time. By now I have seen quite a few of these movies, and yet I was once again surprised about the lunacy and goofiness. Especially when it comes to the playful, kind of childlike excitement and willingness to use these very striking computer effects, which I think must have been quite new at that time. How our characters are jumping from one rooftop to the next. Laws of physics don't really matter that much, and the fun factor is always more important than making something believable. It does take away from the weight of the action, and the execution isn't always that well either, but it's good enough. Unfortunately, the filmmakers are also using another effect that for me in general seldom works. So often they speed up the material, either as an attempt to make the action more thrilling, be it in a fight scene or a car chase, or for comedic purposes. I don't mind it every now and then, but it's used really heavily throughout the entire movie, and this really takes away from the action for me. Especially when you have the contrast every now and then, when there are some more practical and real looking effects and stunt work. Nonetheless, even though it was clearly noticeable that the movie would go in this direction, I was really into the whole introduction segment. The beginning is super fast paced, and I like this silly and energetic spirit. I also really enjoyed how Vijay's character Velu is portrayed as this ass-kicking leader / youthful goofball, which is of course a pretty familiar type of protagonist. But I enjoyed how he's trying to go after his personal aspirations as a kabaddi player and be there for his friends, while also hiding this the best he can from his strict father and his goody two-shoes notions of a sister. As it turns out, his father is also a policeman, which is just perfect. I loved how his friends are trying to cover up the brawl they just had on the streets, and I also enjoyed that this conflict between father and son is also carrying through later on, when Velu tries to protect Dhanalakshmi and hides her at his place. The title Ghilli, by the way, translates to risk taker, which is exactly what Velu is. Someone with a good heart who is doing the right thing when the situation demands it. How that situation comes about feels a bit random though. He and his friends are going to Madurai to participate in a kabaddi match, and it's awesome how when they arrive at the train station, they immediately witness a horrendous, brutal murder. After which we go to a super lovely song and dance number that introduces us to Trisha's Dhanalakshmi, which is a total tonal shift. And after that number we go back to murder and grief again. But at this point I am used to these tonal shifts in Indian movies, and it does have kind of a comedic touch. At this point in the movie, we find out that the powerful and rotten to the core scumbag Muthu Pandey, played by Prakash Raj, has set his mind to marrying Dhanalakshmi, and there's really no one who can stop him. Prakash Raj is really fun, and he totally enjoys it to amp up his character's loathsome, disgusting nature. When he ends up his threats to Dhanalakshmi with "I love you," it's just silly fun. But I think this approach also comes at a price, because it's very much the typical damsel in distress storyline, and though Dhanalakshmi has this lovely introduction song, she has almost no character, and her role is mostly reduced to being miserable and on the run. She has a pretty great scene in the finale though, but apart from that, Trisha is mostly just eye candy. And now finally coming back to how her story and that of our protagonist are clashing. I think it's really kind of sloppy. I mean, I know that Velu traveled to Madurai for the kabaddi match, but the movie isn't interested at all in presenting a cool and fun way how he exactly ends up where Dhanalakshmi is at. He's just randomly running in the streets, also with none of his friends around. It's really kind of lackluster. I was also kind of surprised that kabaddi isn't playing a bigger role. Or did I just miss that his fighting skills are maybe very similar to kabaddi moves? I don't know. But his team players, his friends or sidekicks, completely vanish from the movie for most of its runtime. And the big finale, the final match, isn't built up enough and also again not really executed that well. It just doesn't scratch that sports movie itch for me. I mean, of course it's already clear how it will end, and yet a movie should be able to create some tense moments nevertheless. But here it's really just going through the motions, and the last move by Velu is just another one of those over-the-top ones that he's just able to pull off. And that doesn't do it for me personally. So I wasn't really involved in that match. And unfortunately, apart from some moments, I was also not really emotionally involved when it comes to Velu and Dhanalakshmi. Maybe it's because of the lack of an actual character on her part, or that I didn't feel that much chemistry between the two of them. Ghilli was fun, but the movie never went beyond that for me. It never really engaged or intrigued me more than just being the surface level masala romp. But speaking about masala ingredients, I want to mention that I thought Jennifer was really fun as Velu's obnoxious but still likable little sister Bhuvana. She's just emoting so much, but it works in what they were going for. And again, I really kind of enjoyed this whole family dynamic, which gives the movie a relatable element that helps distinguishing it from just being a simple action flick. And last, but certainly not least, I think the soundtrack by Vidya Sagar is pretty spectacular, and there are some really playful and energetic songs in there. When Velu and his friends are just letting loose on that rooftop, it's just contagious, and you want to jump up and dance along with it. So, while I don't really see me revisiting the movie in the future, I will certainly turn on the soundtrack again. So, in German I'd say, Ghilli ist einfach vergnüglicher Masala Spaß mit vielen tollen Momenten, einem witzigen Bösewicht und wirklich energischen Songs. I give Ghilli 6 out of 10. It's more like 6.3, but I don't do that. Alright, that's it like always. Comment below and let me know what you think about Ghilli. And also, which Tamil movie should I watch next? You can hit me up on Twitter, Instagram and Letterboxd, and also on Patreon, simply at TheJimmyCage. And if you enjoyed this episode, please give me a thumbs up, share, subscribe, whatever you like. And make sure you hit that bell for all I have to tell.